Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Joe Palmer begins now.
Good evening, everyone. A sudden fire outbreak at a mechanic shop this afternoon has spread a thick plume of black smoke over Hobart's northern suburbs. 6 people inside managed to escape the warehouse unharmed as the blaze consumed the suburban building.
Fire crews emerging from inside the burning mechanic business. A smouldering wreckage billowing a blanket of thick black smoke across the city. So heavy, experts issued a smoke alert for the area. Authorities were called to the blaze on Chesterman Street at Moona around 2:30.
We arrived to find that recycling depot fully involved. We had a car up on a hoist which caused us a great deal of concern, particularly with firefighters entering the structure.
Part of the warehouse collapsing, cutting off some areas to firefighters. Crews taking an aerial view to uncover the true extent of the damage, confirming no one was injured.
I had, I believe, 6 people inside at the time, the workers that were undertaking work on the vehicles that were involved in the fire.
Any injuries at all?
No injuries, no, thankfully.
Power was shut off as crews worked to contain the fire. Its cause is not yet known, but authorities said the heavy fuel load inside caused the fire to tear through the building.
It is extensively damaged from heat, smoke and fire. There is a large amount of water damage occurred as well.
Emergency crews remain here on the site for several hours as they continue the extensive clean-up effort, surveyed the site and started their investigations.
It's not something that we deal with on this scale every day, so yes, it is a big fire, but luckily we did contain it to the structure that was initially involved in fire when we arrived.
A standard Friday afternoon taking a dramatic turn. Michelle Wisby, 7 Tasmania News.
A fast-moving bushfire which threatened homes in the state's north yesterday afternoon has now been contained. Fire crews are working to gain the advantage over the blaze in LULWORTH before scorching temperatures sweep the state next week.
This is what crews first faced on the ground in LULWORTH. Wild flames towering into the air, a bushfire raging out of control.
We had a rate of spread of about 80 metres in about 20 minutes. So that was moving fast enough for us to initiate an emergency warning.
Battling 40km/h winds, firefighters rushed to stop the blaze spreading to the nearby township.
We're only a few hundred metres from homes, probably 300 to 500 metres for some homes.
Using seawater as ammunition, fire crews doused the area. And by nightfall, the threat was contained. What sparked the bushfire is still unknown.
That's yet to be determined. We'll be doing an investigation in relation to that in due course.
While in Swansea, 8mm of rain in the past 2 days has helped give crews the upper hand on a fire which has charred more than 4,000 hectares of land.
We've probably got about 50% of the fire now with a good containment line around the edge.
The immediate focus on both fire fronts now shifts to backburning ahead of next week, where temperatures are set to soar into the 30s.
We'll get on top of that in the next couple of days and continue to consolidate the perimeter of the fire.
GARTH, BURLEY, 7 Tasmania News.
The next step in Susan Neal-Fraser's bid for freedom is facing yet another hurdle, with her appeal not expected to be heard until mid-next year due to the unavailability of her interstate legal team. The convicted murderer is expected to spend another Christmas behind bars, not knowing her fate, an experience labelled by her daughter as devastating.
A fraught family living a life waiting. The daughter of Sue Neal-Fraser describing their family's frustration as still being uncertain of the future.
It's an extremely emotional and sad time for us. We really do just want Mum to be out, and my kids really miss her. They're missing out on having her.
The grandmother is spending 23 years behind bars, convicted of murdering her partner Bob Chappell in 2009. The Supreme Court hearing Neal-Fraser's fresh bid for freedom will now be held at the end of May due to the unavailability of a senior member of her legal team. Prosecution told the court a large amount of material in the appeal documents were contentious, some of it not fresh or compelling, while some was completely irrelevant.
We're in the system that put her there in the first place, and I guess our only hope is to continue to go through this process.
Meanwhile, an appeal hearing for Anthony Colin Finnegan, convicted of stomping his friend to death in 2016, has been held in Hobart. His lawyer, May Truong, is appealing the 21-year sentence as manifestly excessive. The arguments being that her client was disabled with a broken leg at the time, would have been too drunk to physically do the stomping that killed him, and that there were other people involved. The hearing continues. Louise Hedger, 7 Tasmania News.
The state government says it's monitoring the situation after 2 people were diagnosed with Q fever. The cases were detected in abattoir workers in the state's north. Q fever is extremely rare in Tasmania, but can lead to flu symptoms as well as heart and lung infections.
We'll certainly be looking into that, and we'll certainly be talking to those who are dealing with animals, those who are working in abattoirs, and those who are working in vets and in close proximity to animals.
The government said claims a pregnant worker had been tested were incorrect. Construction has officially started on a major new attraction in Tasmania's Midlands. The Callington Mill and Distillery project is being spruiked as a world-class whisky and interactive visitor experience.
This empty field is set to become Oatland's newest tourist attraction. The first sod being turned today is set to transform this site alongside Callington Mill into a world-class distillery.
It represents a huge investment in our community. It's going to create a lot of jobs and elevate Oatlands onto the national and international stage.
The iconic mill recently stopped producing flour. Its new job, turning barley into whisky. Construction is set to begin early next year and set to create 40 local jobs.
It's going to be built using Tasmanian materials. The distillery itself is being made here in Tasmania, which is a first for a commercial scale distillery. The construction firm is Tasmanian.
A new visitor information centre is set to be built as a part of the project, replacing the old one that closed in 2017. Offering interactive activities for tourists as well as information on the mill's history.
Experience the mill and experience the whole whisky making process, engage in tasting whiskies, engage in blending their own whisky, where they get the whisky out of the barrels, and just have fun.
The Distillery and Visitor Information Centre project is set to invest more than $25 million into the local Oatlands community. Upon completion, it's expected to attract more than 50,000 visitors to the area each year.
We see this as bringing a huge number of people to Oatlands and certainly making this a real attraction here in the Midlands of Tasmania.
The distillery is due to be open in December 2020. Ebony Ablett, 7 Tasmania News.
And an interactive installation inspired by society's fascination with the octopus has opened in Hobart this evening. The exhibition, called Octolab, offers a unique vision into the life of the species, with some of the work inspired by its features in pop culture.
There are video works, there are collections of octopus paraphernalia, there's an extraordinary work which is looking at octopus motherhood, with tentacles that are glowing in the dark and lighting up in different ways.
The work is on show at the Plimsoll Gallery until January 25. Tonight we take a sneak peek at some of the dazzling works being prepared for Monofoma. Organisers are promising a larger-than-life festival, and they've chosen one interesting location to take over.
It feels like you're in a nightclub. Lasers bounce off the walls as music blares away. And there's, well, wombats and whoever this guy is, because you're not in a club at all. You're in a rowboat.
So what we've done is we've taken over the dark ride at the Penny Royal and turned it into what we're calling Hypno's Cave. And so Hypno's the Greek god of sleep.
It would be a struggle to sleep here. 6 months of labour has gone into the lasers, lights and music.
It's a really rockin' ride now, and I think the lasers, the video, the lights is just going to really blow their mind. I really think so.
But expect changes. This is just a draft for now. Organisers are feeling upbeat, 1 month out from the festival's third year in Launceston.
We're really happy with how ticket sales are tracking. It's a big festival this year. Our footprint across the city is a lot bigger than last year.
And if you feel like dancing in the boat...
I would encourage that, I think.
It's probably just a good idea to wait. Sean McComish, 7 Tasmania News.
If you're looking to add something unique to your resume, the Antarctic Division has issued a call out for workers. It's seeking people to fill 150 positions for upcoming expeditions. The jobs include trades like plumbing, electrical and carpentry. There are also roles available for IT, medical and perhaps the most important, chef. Successful applicants would receive special training and could spend up to 15 months in Antarctica. Tasmania Police is reviewing a magistrate's decision which found it failed to meet workplace health and safety standards for officers relating to its vehicles. The Police Association took the matter to court, citing concerns with its country vehicles, saying they had inappropriate tyres which were too small and did not provide protection from animal strikes. The magistrate has ordered there be greater consultation and risk assessment with workers moving forward.
Us pursuing a safe work environment for our members is our priority, and we're confident that this decision will provide more robust decisions in relation to vehicle selections for our members.
Tasmania Police say it will take appropriate action and has already created a vehicle fleet working group. Drinking beer has never been better for the environment, thanks to a pledge by one of Tasmania's major breweries. James BOAGS promises it will be powered entirely on renewable energy in the coming years by generating electricity on site.
The bottles are green and the business is too. James BOAGS' parent company Lion has announced its ambition to have its nationwide brewing powered solely on renewable energy by 2025.
We produce, 30 million litres of beer a year, and it does, consume quite a bit of power.
In Launceston, that could mean an investment into biogas to turn waste into power on site, or even wind power.
Every site is very different, so our site in Queensland has a lot of sun year round. Here in Tassie we probably have a lot of wind, so maybe that's something that we'd consider here.
The pledge follows another commitment by Lion to become carbon neutral by investing in environmental programs around the country. Over the past 10 years, BOAGS has managed to drive down its energy usage by 30%. These latest measures aim to cap it off. The carbon neutral crusade is being driven by consumer demand, with the brewery claiming today's beer lover wants to drink with a conscience as clean as the beer itself. Meanwhile, the now permanent return of BOAGS St George is set to leave our shores. The brewery is preparing to stock the label in Victoria.
We're quite excited to put it on a boat and send it on its merry way, so hopefully it does well as it has done here in Tassie.
Tom Johnson, 7 Tasmania News. Hobart's Eddie Ockenden has been named the Kookaburras Player of the Year. The 32-year-old led the national team to glory in the inaugural Hockey Pro League this year, along with victory in the Oceania Cup. His side also qualified for next year's Tokyo Olympics. Ockenden is just 7 matches away from becoming the most capped Kookaburra player of all time. Meanwhile, Devonport's Macy Stewart will race at next month's Tour Down Under in South Australia as part of the UniSA Australia team. She last competed at the event in 2018 but withdrew following a concussion from a crash. Richie Port has also announced he will race again in the Tour Down Under. The 2017 champion is feared by rivals on the tour thanks to his domination of the often decisive stage up Wollonga Hill.
Good evening everyone. Temperatures below average today with 19 for Hobart and Burnie, Launceston 18 and 16 degrees in Devonport. Friendly Beaches and St Helens the state's top today with 22, 18 for Ouse, Groves 17 degrees, Flinders Island 16 and 15 for Smithton, Low Head and King Island. Low to high level cloud covering the state today, particularly in the west. Extensive cloud cover lies over the Bight and bright thunderstorms are seen near Brisbane, while an upper level trough is generating a cloud band over central Australia. Tomorrow, a cold front near Tasmania as a high sits over South Australia. A trough sits near the coast for all parts except the south. Southwesterly winds tomorrow 15 to 25 knots, reaching 30 knots in the northeast. And a strong wind warning is current for coastal waters from Stanley to St Helens Point. Tomorrow, 19 in showers for Hobart and Oatlands, 16 for Maydena. Launceston, partly cloudy and 24, 21 for Devonport and 14 for Lyowini. Burnie, cloudy and 20, 16 for Strawn and Marrawar, 15. And on the east, St Helens 20, showers and 18 for Swansea and 18 in Orford. The UV tomorrow is extreme across most of the state and very high in Hobart and Swansea. Looking on to Sunday now, showers across the state, though little reaching the north and east. Fine for Monday, apart from possible showers in the west. And on Tuesday, mainly fine with light winds. 41 for Perth tomorrow, mostly sunny for Adelaide and Melbourne. Sydney, 26, and possible thunderstorms in Brisbane and Darwin. And currently, Hobart, cloudy and 17. Launceston, mostly cloudy and 16. Devonport, mostly cloudy and 17 degrees. And that's all for tonight, Jo.
Beautiful. Thank you very much for that, Chelsea. Lovely to have you here. That's all from the team for now. We'll see you a bit later with updates. Bye-bye.